Here we go. Another relationship horror story. Let's get into it. I was married to my ex-wife for 9 years. 9 years of what I thought was going to be the only person I would be married to. 9 years of trusting someone completely, and it all ended because of a dryer. Yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. I'm a long-haul truck driver. Been doing it for about 15 years now. I haul freight across Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, sometimes all the way to California. My ex-wife worked at Walmart. She started as a cashier and worked her way up to assistant manager. She was proud of that job, always talking about her team, her responsibilities, her goals for making store manager someday. We met at a gas station, if you can believe that. I was filling up my rig. She was getting coffee before her shift. We got to talking, exchanged numbers, and that was it. 6 months later, we were married. What? Yeah, I don't think 6 months is long enough to know someone. Just saying. I'm 41 now. She's 38. No kids. We tried for a while, but it never happened. She said she was okay with it. I believed her. I know a lot of people were saying in the comments, well, if they had kids, it would be different. Not necessarily. Yeah, and just because they have kids will not stop them from cheating. Just saying. I believed her. Here's the thing about being a long-haul truck driver. You're going a lot. I would be on the road for 2 weeks, home for 4 or 5 days, then back out again. That's just how the job works. Some guys in my profession, their marriages fall apart because of the distance. Yeah, of course. The wife gets lonely. The husband misses too many birthdays and anniversaries. The trust breaks down. But I never worried about that with my wife. She was independent. She had her job, her friends, her routines. And whenever I came home, things were good. Our sex life never slowed down. I know that sounds personal, but it's important. Every time I came home from a run, she was all over me. Couldn't keep her hands off me. Well, in some cases, that may be what they call love bombing. It will throw you off. And when they do that, you will never suspect anything else because they are using sex to throw you off. I've heard stories from other drivers. Their wives stop wanting intimacy. They make excuses. They're too tired, too stressed, not in the mood. That's usually a sign something's wrong. But not my wife. She wanted me every single time I walked through that door. So I never suspected a thing. Yep, the sex threw him off. She was also perfect with her phone. She never hid it, never tilted the screen away. If I called her while I was on the road, she answered. If I texted, she responded within minutes. No late nights out with friends. No suspicious behavior. No red flags at all. She was a pro, I'll say. I just didn't know it yet. About 14 months ago, I came home from a 2-week run. It was a Friday afternoon, and I was exhausted. All I wanted was a shower in my own bed. But when I walked in, I noticed the laundry room was a mess. There was water on the floor. The dryer had been acting up for weeks, and it looked like it finally gave out. My wife was at work, so I figured I'd take a look at it myself. I pulled the dryer away from the wall to check the vent. That's when I saw it. There was something wedged between the dryer and the wall. At first, I thought it was just trash or an old sock. But when I reached down and pulled it out, I realized it was a notebook. A small leather-bound notebook, the kind you use as a journal or a diary. I didn't even know my wife kept a diary. In 9 years of marriage, she never mentioned it. I wonder why. I almost put it aside, almost just set it on the counter and forgot about it. But something made me open it. I wish I hadn't. The first few pages were normal. Random thoughts, grocery list, work complaints, dated about 5 years ago. Then I turned the page, and my whole world collapsed. She wrote about a man named Derek, a co-worker at Walmart. Here we go. It's always the co-workers, someone she already knows. Crazy. Apparently, they'd been sleeping together for about a year. Damn. She described everything. The first time they hooked up in his car after closing, the hotels they went to on her days off, The lies she told me when I was on the road, page after page of details, dates, times, locations, how she felt about him, how she felt about me. She wrote that she loved me, but Derek made her feel alive, that I was stable and reliable, but Derek was exciting, that she never planned to leave me because I was her safety net. You can't make this shit up. I sat on the laundry room floor and read the entire thing, every single page. Derek wasn't the only one. About halfway through the diary, she wrote that things with Derek ended. He got transferred to another store and they drifted apart. She wrote that she was sad, but she'd get over it. Then about 6 months later, there was another name, Alan, a guy she met at the gym. 2 years with Alan. Same pattern. Hotels, lies, stolen afternoons. She even wrote about one time when I called her while she was in bed with him. Wow, now that's horrible. That is really bad. Getting dug out by another man while your husband is on the phone with you. She answered the phone, talked to me for 5 minutes, then hung up and went back to what she was doing. I read that and I almost threw up. The diary entry stopped about a year ago. Either she stopped writing or she started a new one somewhere else. But what I had in my hands was enough. 3 years of affairs, 2 different men, and I had no idea. Yeah, if it wasn't for that dryer, homie, you would still be in this marriage. I just sat there for I don't know how long, an hour, maybe 2, trying to process what I just read. She was perfect. That was the thing that kept running through my head. She did everything right. No suspicious phone behavior, no rejecting my advances, no red flags at all. The only reason I found out was because of a broken dryer and a diary that fell behind it. If that dryer hadn't broken, I would still be in the dark. I thought about confronting her. I'm just trying to figure out why she would leave the diary out in the open like that, even if it fell somewhere. Doesn't make sense. Thought about waiting for her to come home and throwing the diary in her face. But what was the point? What was she going to say? She couldn't explain away 3 years of detailed entries in her own handwriting, so I made a decision. First, I took out my phone. I took a picture of every single page of that diary, front and back, every entry, every date, every detail. I wasn't leaving without proof. Then I packed my bags, everything I could fit in my truck, clothes, personal items, important documents. I left most of the furniture and household stuff. I didn't care about any of it. Then I took off my wedding ring. I walked over to the dining room table. I set the diary down in the center. I placed my ring right on top of it and I left. I sat in my truck in the driveway for about 10 minutes before I would even turn the key. My hands were shaking, not from anger, from shock. 9 years gone, just like that. I didn't leave a note. I didn't need to. The diary said everything. Well, even though he married this woman after only 6 months, it doesn't sound like he's simping. I drove to my buddy's place about 40 minutes away. He let me crash in his spare room while I figured out my next move. She called me 6 times that night. I didn't answer. She left voicemails crying, screaming, begging me to talk to her. I deleted them all. The next morning, I called the divorce attorney. Here's what he told me about Texas law. Texas is technically a no-fault state. You can file for divorce just by saying the marriage is insupportable. That means it's broken beyond repair. Interesting. You don't have to prove anyone did anything wrong, but Texas also allows fault-based divorce, and adultery is one of the recognized grounds. My attorney said I had something most people don't have, proof, in her own handwriting. Dates, names, locations, 3 years of detailed entries. That diary was a gold mine. So basically, she self-incriminated herself. My attorney actually smiled when I showed it to him. He said in 23 years of practice, he has never seen evidence this clean and concise. Most people have to hire private investigators. Most people have to dig through phone records and bank statements. I had a full confession in her own handwriting. In Texas, when you file on fault grounds like adultery, it can affect how the court divides property. Texas is a community property state, which normally means everything gets split 50-50. But if one spouse is at fault, the judge can award the betrayed spouse a larger share. That's exactly what I wanted. My attorney also told me something else. In Texas, you have to be married at least 10 years to qualify for spousal maintenance. That's what they call alimony here. We were married 9 years. 9 years and 4 months to be exact. She wasn't getting a damn dime from me. Even if we had been married 10 years, her adultery would have worked against her. Texas courts can deny alimony to a spouse who committed adultery. So she was out of luck either way. I filed for divorce on grounds of adultery, submitted copies of the diary pages as evidence. When she got served, she tried to fight it. Her attorney tried to argue that the diary was private and shouldn't be admissible. The judge shut that down immediately. It was found in the marital home. I had every right to read it. She also tried to deny the affairs, said the diary was fiction and she was just writing stories. The judge didn't buy that for a second. The entries were too specific. Took the words right out of my mouth. Dates that matched up with their work schedule, details about hotels that actually existed, references to real people and real events. You don't write fiction that detailed. That was her life, and she documented every bit of it. The divorce took almost 6 months. Texas has a 60-day waiting period after you file before the divorce can be finalized. But because she contested it and tried to fight the evidence, it dragged out longer. Her attorney filed motion after motion trying to get the diary thrown out. Every single one was denied. Because I filed on fault grounds and had solid evidence, the judge awarded me 60% of the community property. She got 40%. We had to sell the house. I got 60% of the proceeds. She got 40%. Same with our savings, our vehicles, everything. 60-40 across the board. And no alimony, not a single dollar. She walked away with less than half of what we built together. And I walked away with my sanity. Last I heard, she moved in with some guy she met. I don't know where she met him. Still working at Walmart. Still trying to make store manager. I don't know what happened to Alan. I don't know if she still sees him because she is with someone else, or she might be seeing both of them. That wouldn't surprise me. Honestly, I don't care. Here's what I learned from all of this. First, trust your instincts, but also accept that some people are just really good liars. I had no reason to suspect her. Yeah, because she was throwing you off with the sex. She covered her tracks perfectly. If that dryer hadn't broken, I still might be married to her. Second, document everything. She documented her own affairs without even realizing it. That diary was the only reason I got the outcome I did. If it had been my word against hers, things would have been different. Third, know your state laws. Texas requires 10 years of marriage for alimony. We were 9 years in. That 8 months made all the difference. If I had found that diary a year later, she might have been eligible for support. Fourth, you don't owe anyone a confrontation. I didn't scream at her. I didn't throw things. I didn't give her a chance to lie to my face. I just left the evidence on the table and walked out. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. I'm doing okay now. It's been about 8 months since the divorce was finalized. I'm still driving trucks, still living in my buddy's spare room, but I'm looking for my own place. The first few months were hard. 9 years is a long time. Even when the person betrays you, there's still grief. You mourn the life you thought you had, the future you thought you were building. But as time went on, I started feeling better. No more worrying about what she was doing while I was on the road. No more second guessing myself. No more living a lie. I started seeing a therapist a few months back. Yeah, I did a video not too long ago about therapy and trolls. A lot of people will come to the platform and beat their chest like, this won't affect me, but you're human. Stop saying that every man is a simp when they encounter betrayal, because it's not like that. You're human. Sometimes you need a period to grieve. Doesn't mean you're weak, and it doesn't mean you're a simp. Just because a man doesn't move fast enough does not mean he's a simp. Not because I was falling apart, but because I wanted to process everything properly. Work through the anger, the betrayal, the trust issues. It's helping. I even went on a few dates recently. Don't worry. Nothing serious, just testing the waters. Yeah, no more getting married after 6 months either. Remembering what it's like to talk to someone who might actually be honest with me. As for my ex-wife, she tried to contact me once, about 2 months after the divorce. Left a voicemail, how she made mistakes, how she wished we could talk. I blocked her on everything. What was there to say? She had 9 years to be honest with me. It doesn't sound like it's a simp to me. She chose to lie every single day instead. Some things don't deserve a response. The diary stuff on my phone is gone now. After the divorce was finalized, I deleted all those photos. I didn't need a reminder of what she did, but I'll never forget what it taught me. Some people can look you in the eye, tell you they love you, and then go sleep with someone else the same day. Some people can answer your phone calls while they're in bed with another man. Some people can keep a secret for years without ever slipping up. And sometimes the only reason you find out is pure dumb luck. Yeah, he was lucky. A broken dryer, an old diary, a ring on a table. That's all it took to end 9 years of lies. To everyone listening, thanks for hearing my story. If something feels off in your relationship, pay attention. And if you find proof, don't ignore it. Don't make excuses for them. Don't convince yourself it's not what it looks like. Protect yourself, know your rights, and don't be afraid to walk away. Because at the end of the day, you deserve better than someone who can lie to your face for 3 years straight. And of course, I got tested for STDs, and everything came back negative. Once again, he's lucky. Take care of yourselves. And as Tony once said, don't ever let someone make a fool out of you. Yeah, I've said it a few times. And let me say this again. Just because a man doesn't move 200 miles an hour in real life doesn't make him a simp. So what would you do if you were married to someone for 15 or 20 years? You're going to beat your chest like Tarzan and move on? Nah, you won't, because for one, what if you have kids? You have a lot to process. So stop using the word simp when you don't really know what it means. Until next time.